Hello everybody, here today to talk about a Wisp but wrong video. This is a build that uses the Cataclysmic Gate augment as well as Pull as her subsume. There are some minor improvements you could make to this build, but I didn't have the space nor want to add the extra format into my Wisp, at least not yet. Maybe I will at some point. This build is quite fun. Currently I have 5 Tau Forge strength shards in, and this is a build that uses quite a decent amount of strength. The one weakness of the Cataclysmic Gate augment has always been the fact that enemies kind of don't run into it, so we are using Pull to group enemies up to it. It really, you could use any subsume that has a grouping ability. Either you could use your Gyre's ability, you could use Pull, you can use Airburst, anything that's got enough range. I decided on Pull this time because I hadn't used it in a while. The goal for this build is to basically fire the Soul Gate at your feet and then pull enemies into it. It's surprisingly strong. A couple of small interactions with this that don't really have a explanation in the game, aside from a very small tooltip that's really weird that I usually also don't read. If you're affected by your motes, each buff gives a different buff to your Soul Gate. One of those makes it so that the heat procs apply, or the radiation procs apply a corrosive proc. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but just know that Soul Gate applies a corrosive proc. So we are applying radiation, heat, and corrosive through this build. So it is quite a bit of statuses. These are level 180s, 185 enemies, so about the highest that you'll see baseline steel path, and they are falling over. So if you need a Wisp build that doesn't need a weapon, surprise, this is one of those. If you wanted to improve this build a little bit more, you could add a Tau Forged Corrosive Shard or 2 normal Corrosive Shards to get that full armor strip, or that 98% armor strip. And obviously I have regular flow. Prime flow is just better. I didn't have the space to put primed, so I'm using regular. Outside of that, we use Equilibrium for our energy sustain, and boy, sometimes we do run out of energy. It is definitely an issue with this build, so if you can find a way to gain some energy, that would be nice. I did realize I wasn't using Synth Deconstruct or the energy Death Cube thing, so that was partially a reason why I was running out of energy a little bit. With those, I'm sure you could probably not run out, so with a little bit more testing, it could be a bit easier. The weaknesses of this build are about the same that Wisp has. It's nothing like too difficult that she can't deal with this build. The Cataclysmic Gate augment is surprisingly fun to use as well. That said, we're using Arcane Crepuscular, but I wasn't using Breach Surge that much, mostly because I wanted to see the actual strength of the 4 augment. If there are enemies that need to die faster, Breach Surge does a wonderful job. Cataclysmic Gate is a insane conduit for Breach Surge. It is really good. You get a lot of sparks. So many sparks. It's filled with sparks. So if you are interested in something like that, this is a great build. I actually probably will be using this build a lot more often. A lot of these builds I build as one-offs because they are usable, albeit a little slow sometimes, but I genuinely have liked the last 2. The Araxia one, as a sniper, has been insanely fun to play, and this one is probably going into my roster. I usually play Wisp as a full support, and this is not that. She is very, very strong as a damage frame with this. Cataclysmic Gate makes a lot of the weaknesses of Soul Gate kind of disappear, and the statuses that we apply with it are really cool. You could probably opt to drop some strength out of this build because it kills so quickly, and add a bit more range if you want. Cool thing to note about the Cataclysmic Gate augment is that you can put it on ceilings. It actually goes anywhere you feel like. The radius is quite large, and obviously we are wanting more range, so you could generally go for a max 280 range build, and you'd actually be probably totally fine, especially with how quickly we can pull enemies in and use Breach Surge. Anyways, that is the video. I'll see you guys in the next video on Thursday of next week. Goodbye!